how he is the source of all great things in this entire universe, and whatever great things that you see in this world are just a small spark of Krishna's unlimited greatness, divine splendor, spark of splendor. Okay, so that's the popular shloka. I think we can recite it. So I'll recite it, and if you have Bhagavad Gita, you can see, and you can also recite. So as much as possible, you try. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam shrimadhurjitamev tattadevavagachatvam mama tejo sambhavam. So you can unmute yourself. I cannot unmute. Yes, Krishna Priya.
Prabhuji, which verse, Prabhuji? Which verse?
This is 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. Which verse?
Okay, next. Krishikeshan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
The second line.
Srimadhurjitameva
Srimadhurjitameva Srimadhurjitameva Srimadhurjitameva Srimadhurjitameva. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. And what?
Next. T.R. Krishnan Prabhu. Tattadevavagachatvam. You are unable to unmute yourself. Ashoda. You recite the full sloka.
Okay. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam shrimadhurjitameva va tattateva vagachatvam mam tejo sambhava.
Okay. Thank you. Then Chinmayi, you want to recite full shloka? Okay, then Uma Mataji. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam Shrimadhurjitameva tattadevavagachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Okay, Hasini. Unmute yourself.
Yes, Prabhu. I can't read.
Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam
Yadyad vibhuti mat sarvam
Shrimadhurjitameva
Srimadhurjitameva va
tattadevavagachatvam
tattat eva vagachatvam
mama tejo amsha sambhavam.
mama tejoam sasambhavam. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Priyansh. Hare Krishna. Priyansh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yadyad. Hare Krishna. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam
Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam
Shrimadhurjitameva
Srimadhurjitameva va
tattadevavagachatvam
tattadeva vagachatvam
mama tejo amsha sambhavam.
mama tejom sambhavam.
Jahnavi.
Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam
Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam
Shrimadhurjitameva
Srimad Ujitameva va tattat eva vagachatvam
gachatvam mama tejo amsha sambhavam.
mama tejom sambhavam.
Very good. Thank you. Uma Mataji. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam
Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam Srimadhurjitameva va tattat eva gachatvam mama tejo mam sasambhavam.
Okay, thank you. Then who else? Neelam Nivetya Mataji. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्तत्त्वं श्रीमद् ऊर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजो अंशसम्भवम्। कृष्ण।
Anusha, यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्
यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम्. Thank you, Guruji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Garima.
यद्विभूतिमत्तत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम्। Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, Garima.
यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमदूर्जितमेव वा तत्तदेवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजोंशसम्भवम्.
Kirtida. यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं
यद् Prabhuji will try.
यद्यद्
यद्यद्विभूतिमत्सर्वं श्रीमद्युजतमेव वा तत्तदेव गच्छत्वं मम तेजों
संभवं
संभवम्.
धारणा
May I,
महेश.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Smita Mataji, you can recite.
Yes. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Yad vibhutimat श्रीमदु ऊर्जितम् एव वा तत्तत् एवावगच्छत्वं मम तेजो संभवम्.
Okay, thank you.
Prabhuji, can I
should-
recite?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Can
you
I
can
tell?
recite. Yes.
Yad vibhuti sattvam shrimad urjitam eva va tattad eva vagachatvam mama tejo amsa sambhavam. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Thank you. So,
Yeah, Prabhuji, can I recite?
Yeah, please. Last one.
यद्यद् विभूतिमत्सत्त्वं श्रीमद् ऊर्जितम् एव वा तत्तत् एवावगच्छत्वं मां तेजो अंशसम्भवाम्. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Thank you. So, today, now we will discuss the meaning of the shloka. Here Krishna says, Yadyad vibhutimat sattvam. Vibhutimat means very great, very opulent. That is coming from Krishna. Shrimad Urjita. Shrimad means very beautiful. Urjita means very glorious, grand, majestic. So anything that you see opulent, majestic, great, beautiful, attention attracting in the entire universe is coming from Krishna. So it's just coming from Krishna. Tat tat eva avagachatvam. Please know that whatever beautiful that you see here is just a spark of my splendor. Mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Amsha means a small spark, a little part. Mama tejo amsha sambhavam. Mama tejo means Krishna's power. So here in this shloka, Krishna is declaring that whatever beautiful, glorious, great or wonderful you see in this entire creation is just a small spark of Krishna's opulence, Krishna's splendor, Krishna's greatness. So without Krishna, nothing in this world can exist. So this shloka is coming in the context where Krishna has just described a series of his opulences. In the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is called Vibhuti Yoga, Arjuna requested Krishna to describe his own opulences. Oh Krishna, how do you sustain this whole universe? By your powers. You said that you are all pervading throughout the universe. You are sustaining the universe. You are maintaining the universe. How do you do that? So Arjuna asked. So then Krishna said, okay, I am going to describe my opulences, only the prominent ones, because to describe all the opulences is not very practical, okay, because I have unlimited opulences. So I have so many pictures of each of these opulences, but I am unable to show because of this issue. So amongst all the Adityas, Devatas, Lord Krishna is Vamanadev. Amongst all the luminaries, Krishna is Sun. Amongst all the stars, Krishna is Moon. Amongst all the Devatas, Krishna is Indra. Amongst all the senses, Krishna is the mind. Amongst all the priests, Krishna is Brahaspati. Amongst all the commanders in chief, Krishna is Kartikeya or Skanda. Amongst all the water bodies, Krishna is the great ocean. Amongst all the great sages, Krishna is Bhrigu. Amongst all the yajnas, Krishna is Japa Yajna. Yajnanam Japa Yajnosmi. Amongst all the elephants, Krishna is Airavat. Amongst all the cows, Krishna is Surabhi cow. It's like that. Krishna says that I am the best amongst everything. So it's not that Krishna is a cow. It's not that Krishna is a lion. Amongst all the beasts, I am lion, Krishna says. Amongst all the birds, I am Garuda, he says. Not that the lion is Krishna. Basically, without Krishna, nothing can exist. Okay. So Krishna is taking just one prominent person or object in a group of similar objects and says that this is my representative. So without Krishna, none of the devatas can exist. But amongst all the devatas, Indra represents Krishna. Without Krishna's sanction, none of the luminaries can exist. But amongst all the powerful luminaries, sun represents Krishna because sun is the best of all of them. Amongst all the stars, this moon represents Krishna. Fine. Oh, our Prabhu is sharing the screen. So we can go to slide number 211. It's quite far. Anyways, meanwhile we'll continue. Prabhu, you can search for that slide. Here, Krishna says that amongst all the creators, I am Brahma. Amongst all the rivers, I am Ganga. So like that, Krishna says, I am the best of all things. Now, why Krishna is speaking so much about his own glories? I am so glorious, I am so great. Whatever great you see is just a spark of my splendor. So when Krishna says this, it's not that he's exhibiting his ego or false prestige. So last time also we discussed, when God boasts about himself, it's not that the Lord is wanting some fan following, that's why he's boasting about his glories. Actually, the Lord is boasting about himself to boost our faith, to boost our trust in him. So when we hear that, oh, Krishna is so glorious, Krishna is so great, then our attention is attracted to Krishna and we will be devoted to Krishna. So Krishna's intention is in speaking about all his glories, especially in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, I am so great. Okay. And whatever is great is coming from me. So that's like a very big statement. When ordinary common people say that, it is an exhibition of ego. So yes, Prabhu, if possible, show slide number 215. So egoistic people speak of their glories even when they are not asked for, or even when it is not necessary. Did you notice somebody just coming and then speaking that I'm so great, I have done this, I have done that, without me nothing can happen. So even when they are not asked to speak, they will speak about it. Even when it is not necessary. Sometimes it may be necessary that we have to speak what we have done, just to give an information to people. But even when that necessity is not there, people are too bent upon just glorifying themselves and praising themselves and trying to attract attention towards themselves in a group of people. But Krishna is not just trying to attract our attention in an egoistic way. Krishna is trying to attract our attention because getting attracted to Krishna is our natural state of consciousness and it is beneficial for us. Krishna is being very kind and affectionate. Don't just divert your attention towards so many. Try to divert your attention to me so that you can come back to me, right? So for common people, all the opulences spoken by Krishna in this chapter are mainly meant to inform them of the presence of a great personality. Okay, so people cannot believe anything beyond their sense perception, common people. So they think that only if I see things with my eyes, I believe. So they see Himalayas and they think Himalayas are great. But now if you tell them that Himalayas are great because they're representative of Krishna, according to the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, amongst all great mountains, I am Himalayas, Krishna says. And amongst all the rivers, I am Ganga. So Ganga is great. Okay, because Krishna is that great Ganga. The greatness of Ganga comes from Krishna. So when we connect everything great, everything wonderful, everything beautiful, everything splendorous to Krishna's greatness, that is a way to identify the creator behind the creation. However, we also need to understand these are all sparks of Krishna's splendor. What did Krishna say? Krishna just said that Mama Tejo Amsha Sambhavam. I am so powerful, I am extremely powerful, but all the powerful things in this world are just sparks of my splendor. It's very small, minute sparks of my splendor. Okay. Mama Teja Amsha Sambhavam. They are manifested by an Amsha of my Teja. So now you see sparks attract us. Now Indra is a spark, then Shiva is a spark, Brahma is a spark, Airavat is a spark, and what else? Himalaya mountains are sparks, Vamana Dev. So like that we have just jotted down some 10, 15 opulences of Krishna, vibhutis of Krishna in this chapter right now. So all these are small sparks of Krishna's splendor. So anything beautiful that you see, it's a small spark of Krishna's splendor. So generally these sparks have ability to attract us, isn't it? When we see a beautiful scenery, as you're seeing in this picture, that really attracts our attention. Wow, such a serene place. I can just sit under the tree and relax. So that attracts us. But point is, these sparks that attract us will not stay forever. They will soon disappear. Okay. So sparks are meant to remind us of the whole, the source of all sparks. Because you take a big fire, the spark of the fire will disappear in some time, isn't it? But the fire exists, continues to exist. Similarly, Krishna may manifest this entire universe and so many other wonderful things in the universe, but all these wonderful things which are sparks of Krishna's splendor can disappear at any moment. They will not stay forever, isn't it? The sparks are meant to remind us of the whole. So just like Krishna says in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita also, Rasohamapsu kaunteya prabhasmi shishuryayor jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasmi tapasvishu. Like Krishna speaks many. Sweet light, we can remember Krishna. So seeing sun, which is a spark of Krishna's splendor, gives us an opportunity to remember Krishna. Seeing the moon, which is a spark of Krishna's splendor, reminds us of Krishna. Seeing Ganga, which is a spark of Krishna's splendor, can remind us of Krishna. So like that, these are all opportunities for us to become Krishna conscious. For materialistic people, all these vibhutis described in Vibhuti Yoga in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita are meant to convince them that there is a supreme person behind this creation. There is a creator behind the creation, isn't it? But for devotees, how is it useful? We already believe that God exists. We don't have to be convinced that about the existence of God. So for common people who need to be convinced about the existence of God, this 10th chapter has some messages, has so many pointers. But for devotees who are already convinced about the existence of God, Krishna being the source, all these descriptions are meant to remind us of Krishna. Okay, whenever we see something beautiful, great, we remember Krishna. Okay, when we see Himalayas, we remember Krishna. When we see beautiful trees, we remember Krishna. When we see flowers, we remember Krishna. When we drink water, we remember Krishna. When we see sun and moon, we remember Krishna. Okay, so, but all these sparks are also temporary manifestations of Krishna's splendor. All these sparks only, you can go to the next slide. All these sparks only increase our hankering to enjoy. When we see a small spark, means when we see something very beautiful in this world, that naturally attracts our attention and that instigates some desire to enjoy. So sparks only increase our hankering to enjoy, but the whole satisfies all our hankerings. That's why there's a beautiful shloka in the Rudra Gita, in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a chapter called Rudra Gita. Means Lord Shiva sang that song. In that, Lord Shiva is glorifying Darshanam nodi drukshunam dehi bhagavatarchitam rupam priyatamam svanam sarvendriya gunanjanam. So Shiva is requesting Lord Krishna that, oh Lord, can you please show your beautiful form that satisfies all our hankerings? So sarvendriya gunanjanam, all the indriyas, all the senses are completely satisfied when the senses come in contact with Krishna, when we see Krishna. So this is the greatness of Krishna's form that satisfies all our hankerings. Material beauty agitates the mind. Spiritual beauty satisfies the mind. Okay, you understood the difference? Material beauty, whenever you see something material, it is very beautiful, wonderful, that agitates the mind with so many desires, so much of hankering. But spiritual beauty satisfies our minds. So when you see beautiful darshan of Krishna in a temple, you become very pacified. But when you see some beautiful doll in a showroom, or when you see some beautiful person on the street, so that might induce a desire to enjoy on a material plane, in a materialistic person. So now when we see many things beautiful in this world, that's an opportunity for us to connect with Krishna. Remember Krishna. Let us be attracted to the complete personality Krishna through the sparks of his splendor. Okay. So all these sparks are meant to increase our attraction towards this goal. So while being enamored by the beauty of creation, let us not miss to recognize the glory of the Creator. Okay. So we may be enamored by the beauty of the creation, but the Creator is even more beautiful. Okay. So you can close the PowerPoint, Prabhu. So yeah, this is the point I was saying. You can close it. So now, let's conclude with one last point. There is this spiritual vision. So Krishna is describing all the opulences that he has, even in the material circles, and he's trying to inspire us to have a spiritual vision of material objects. When we see material objects, it could be mountains or rivers or anything. When we see spiritual things, when we see material objects, we can remember the supremely spiritual Lord as the source of all these material objects. So that spiritual vision is meant for deepening our experience of ultimate reality. So yes, these are just sparks of Krishna's splendor. Let me stay away from them. The material world is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. Let me just have nothing to do with this material world. We don't have to be detached. We don't have to deny things. So we should not miss to see the connection between everything beautiful with Krishna. But we need not deny things. For example, flowers. Okay, they're material. Okay, the spark of Krishna's splendor. We understand this is just a spark. Let me leave this flower. I have nothing to do with this flower. No, we can pluck that flower, offer it to Krishna. So everything wonderful, everything beautiful in this world can be utilized in Krishna's service. Thus, we can reach the supremely spiritual Lord through all these material objects. So instead of getting enamored by the material beauty and materially wonderful things and stopping at that level, let us also recognize the connection between those things and Krishna and try to utilize them in Krishna's service. Thus, our presence in the material world, our interaction with material objects can also help us to connect with Krishna spiritually. Okay. So now Bhakti Yoga, the process of Bhakti Yoga, practicing Bhakti Yoga connects our consciousness with Krishna. And it gives us glimpses of Krishna's sweetness. Oh, Krishna has created this material world in such a beautiful way. So how beautiful must be the spiritual world? Spiritual world must be so beautiful. I have this picture. You see, so Krishna is just playing flute along with, he's surrounded by so many cows and calves, and he's under a tree. There's a nice scenery. And there are some deers and peacocks. So spiritual world is beautiful. If the material world is so beautiful, how beautiful spiritual world must be. So by displaying some beauty and majesty in the material world, Krishna is giving us glimpses of his spiritual world. Spiritual world must be so beautiful. Okay. So enriched with the taste for Krishna's sweetness, we can see the world's attractive objects not as independent sources of pleasure, but as pointers towards the Supreme Lord, who is the supreme source of everything. Right. So everything beautiful, everything greater that we see in this material world can potentially connect us to Krishna. Okay. So we don't have to hate the material world. In one of our previous sessions, we discussed it. Yes, material world is temporary. It is dukkhalayam and ashashvatam. It doesn't mean we don't have to hate it. We need to recognize that everything beautiful and wonderful in this world is coming from Krishna. So everything beautiful and wonderful in this world can remind me of Krishna, can connect me to Krishna. So we can remember Krishna happily. That's an opportunity for us to become Krishna conscious. So to summarize, everything great and beautiful that we see in this world is just a spark of Krishna's splendor. Sparks are temporary, but the whole is permanent. So through the sparks, we can connect with the permanent Krishna, the Supreme Lord Krishna, and all these sparks can act as potential reminders for us to connect with Krishna. So these are reminders of Krishna's greatness. So with this, I'll conclude. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I hope you could clearly hear me. Okay. You want to recite? Yes, iPhone. Aishita, you want to recite? Yadyad vibhoti mat sattam. Unmute yourself. I can't unmute you. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam.
Prabhuji, I can't hear you very nicely.
You can't hear me. Yadyad vibhoti mat sattvam.
Yagya vibhutattvam
Srimadhurjitameva va.
Srimatu Vava
Tattat eva vagachatvam.
Tatyateham
Mama tejom sambhavam.
Mama Tejo.
Sambhavam. Okay, fine. Next. Chinmayi, you want to recite?
Thank you.
Unmute yourself, Chinmayi. Recite. Yadyad vibhuti mat sattvam. Srimadhurjitameva va. Tattadeva vagachatvam. Mama tejom